So hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in this video we are going to see how we can implement a react-redux functionality into our React application. So here you can see, for your reference, I have created a presentation based on the react-redux functionality and what is react-redux basically and why we use react-redux in our React application. So first of all, Redux is a pattern and library for managing and updating the application state using events called actions. It serves as a centralized store that needs to be managed across your entire application with the rules ensuring that states can only be updated in a predictable manner. So Redux always consists of three parts. First is creating an actions. Actions basically always tells what to do. Like, let's suppose here you can see I have a button. On the click of the button, it will increment the counter from +1. So it always tells what to do. Like it is a plain JavaScript objects that have a type field. And on the basis of type field, we dispatch our action to match the criteria. Actions only tells what to do, but they don't tell how to do. Like how we can implement this functionality is not a type of action. It is a type of reducers. So basically the second part is the reducer. Reducers are functions that take the current state and an action as an argument and return a new state as a result. So as you can see in the next slide, we have an initial state and I have defined a count variable equals to 0. Now with the help of reducer function, it is taking the initial state and an action as an argument, and on the basis of the action.type where we have declared the case is increment, it will return the updated state with the help of set.count +1. So it is something like, if you see in my code, we have the use state, and when we click on the button increment, it will update the final state. So on the basis of the type field in the Redux functionality, we will increment our state from previous state to newer state +1, and the default statement we will return the state. So now after creating the action reducer, our last part is to create a store. The Redux store brings together the state, action and reducer that make our app. So it is important to note that we have only a single store in a Redux application. Every Redux store has a single root reducer function. So while creating the store, we have to keep things in our mind that we can only create one store at a time. So with the help of import create store from Redux and then const store is equal to create store, we are creating a store and we are combining our reducers and action so that we can use that part of logic in our component hierarchy further down to the child components. So that is something, and here you can see in our code we have a basic implementation of a counter increasing from +1 whenever the button will get clicked. So basically we are going to modify this logic and we will implement the React Redux functionality into our React application. So coming back to the presentation, so our first step to create the action. So for that I will create a folder named Redux, and inside Redux I will create one file which is actions.tsx. In the action.tsx, it will contain a type field. As you can see, we have defined our type to increment. So export const increment, and with the return statement we have the type increment. So now we will write export const increment. We will return the type field, type to be increment. Now our action is created. Now our second step is to create a reducer for that. So we will create one file reducer dot. Now as you can see in the slide, reducers are basically functions which take current state and an action as an argument. So first we have to define the initial state. So for that we will write const initial state is equals to count initially to be 0. Now we will write const counter reducer. It will take initial state, which is the initial state, and as an action as an argument, and on the basis of these statements we will return the new state. So action.type, with the help of action.type we can check our action. So we will write case first, which is increment. So let's suppose if the button is clicked on the increment, then we will return a new state from count to state dot count +1. It will increment the state from +1. Okay. Now on the default we will return the state. Okay, and we will export this reducer so that we can use this into our main file. Export default counter reducer. So that is something. Now after the action and reducer is completed, we have to create our store to make our app. So store.jsx. Store is basically where we combine our action and reducer so that we will make our app. So now we will write import create store from react-redux. Sorry, not create store hook, create store only from Redux. And now we will write import counter reducer from the reducer. Now we will create our store. Const store is equals to create store, and inside create store we will pass our counter reducer. So it will create our store, and we will now export this store, export default store. So now we have completed our all the three steps for the reducer. Now to use this logic of the Redux, we have to pass the store into our provider. So basically you can see we have the provider from React Redux and we have the store from the Redux store which we have created here. I will wrap this provider into our app, from where with the help of store we are passing this store logic into our React application, and we can further use that logic in the component hierarchy. So now we have to modify this logic. Now we will comment this use state, and we don't want the use state now. We will manage the state using Redux. So we will import two things. One is the usedispatch from React Redux and useselector. So basically useselector hook is used to extract the data from the const count. If I have to access this count, like here in the reducer I have initialized the initial state with the count 0, so I want to access this state. So now for that I will write useselector, and inside useselector I will pass the state, and I will pass state dot count, and with the help of this I will get the initial state. Now here comes with the usedispatch. So I will write usedispatch is used to dispatch particular actions from the Redux store. We will use dispatch, and inside we will write type to be increment, which is this only. I will copy this increment, paste it here. So as you can see, after saving this file, if I click on the increment button, then you will see the counter is increasing from +1. So that is something we have implemented our logic of React Redux, and we have removed the initial logic which we are using using the use state. So now we have the Redux store with the help of actions, reducers and the store. We can use this logic in the entire application further down to the component hierarchy. So yeah, so this is it, and you can use this logic to any other React application, and you can also modify this code. Try adding one decrement button here, and you can implement that logic with the help of the reducer we have. So for the decrement you just need to state.count -1, and make sure that it should not go beyond 0. Okay, so because we don't want a negative value. So that is something we have implemented our React Redux functionality, and if you have any doubt regarding this, so let me know in the comment section, and if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. So till then, thank you for watching.